riot of 1921. I can give you a lot of examples where women changed policies, where women changed the trajectory of things. But the interesting thing at that point, these women broke barriers. You understand? They had to withstand. At some point, even in the I think the Benin Kingdom, in Edo State, women changed things. Women made things happen, right? Women were industrious, and they achieved a lot of things. The question would be, what has changed? And then they did not even have access to the level of education that we have now. What has changed along the line?
Thank you so much, because that brings me, straight right to the thought as regards what I wanted to ask you next. How have you been able to break so many barriers in your career as regards the fact that you're also in many male-dominated career fields? I want to know how you were able to break those.
All right. So now I'll be looking at two things. First, I will look at the media industry, and then I'll look at my career in unionism and the app-based industry. Now, in the media, I studied linguistics and communication studies. So I hold both degrees in both linguistics and communications. And to a large extent, it was difficult for me in the media. Very difficult. You know why? My accent. So I happened to, I've had a lot of stunts in radio, but they would always tell me, Laurentia, your voice is too thick. Laurentia, you need to change the way you speak, like try to speak more through the nose, try to anglicize your English language, make it sound more foreign. And I'm like, my accent is my identity. I am unwilling to change my identity. Work on my English to make it better, yes, but then change my accent. That's like denying that I am Nigerian. I have seen successful broadcasters, when they open their mouth to speak, you can tell this woman is from India. You can tell where they come from. So why the stereotype in Nigerian media industry? That was a major challenge for me. And to a large extent, after a while, I gave up. I was like, okay, let me just be an analyst on radio, just say my mind and stuff like that. But I will not sit, behind that mixer and, be an OAP. And then an opportunity showed up much later, and I fully entered broadcasting. And this time around, TV. And guess the first challenge I had was a boss that I had that time that told me, you have no clear path in broadcasting. And then I don't like being told no. And the most interesting thing about it, it was a female boss. And here we are talking accelerate action. So most times in career, sometimes we women usually are the demise of our own gender when it comes to career, probably for reasons of insecurity, probably for reasons I cannot even begin to explain. But I have come to realize over time that in as much as the fact that we are pushing for inclusion, we are pushing for women accelerating action, we should also look inwards, because I can tell you for free, a lot of women are also part of the problem that we are going through. So, but my type of woman, I don't take no for an answer. I remember my childhood. I fought my way. I fought all through. So that spirit of a rebel was already in me. So when she said you had no clear path in broadcasting, and this is me who has a degree in broadcasting, and someone who doesn't have a degree but happens to be in the media is telling me that, who doesn't have a degree in broadcasting, sorry, but happens to be in the media is telling me that I have no clear path in that which I have a degree on. That was a slap in the face, and I don't take no for an answer. So guess what? I paid the price. I sacrificed. I had to go. I looked for mentors. I humbled myself. I did what I needed to do, called my colleagues in the radio and told them, I have to do this. And here I am today. And then when it comes to unionism, I'm the state secretary of App-Based Transporters of Nigeria. That means e-hailing drivers. Yes, so I am also an e-hailing driver, by the way, and that was my side, or that is still my side hustle. But the thing was that I moved a little bit from the regular e-hailing to more of interstate trips. That means I travel practically anywhere in Nigeria with my car. If the price is good, I check my safety, do my background check on you, and you're good to go. You agree with my price. And interestingly, I also drive for companies, which means I am more into corporate driving. So now that industry is a male-dominated industry. I have actually enjoyed certain graces, particularly interestingly, from security operatives on the road. So when they see me driving and they stop me, let's say, they stop me on highway, ma'am, how are you? And I greet them and like, where are you coming from? Port Harcourt. Why are you going to Sapele? All right. And they were like, okay, so at some point, they actually, we became friends. They got to know me because, I mean, these are routes that I fly almost every day. So they got to know me. It was not easy having men trust me. I recall several experiences where I have to go pick a client. Remember, I am also a contract driver for a transport company. So now I am linked to drive high-end customers. Okay. So when I get to their pickup point, and usually their details are given to me and mine given to them. When they see Laurentia, they say, it's a mistake. Probably they wanted to write Lawrence. So so you can imagine getting to the car and it's a lady. They'll be like, okay, Laurentia, are you Laurentia? What your full name, please? I will say Laurentia Choma. You say, oh, Choma, I did not see Choma. I saw Laurentia. I said, you're not, is it not Lawrence? I said, no, sir, it's Laurentia. I'm like, give me a minute. Before they will call. Wait, oh, did you give me a woman to come and drive me? You know, the way they will even say, like, and the person on the other end will be, she's one of our best. Like, why would the woman, they fear that women are not good drivers. It's palpable, it's real.
Do you think it stems from the fear that women are not real drivers, or it stems rather from the fear that women are not capable?
I think it stems from the fear of questioning the capability of women to be good drivers, to be professional drivers. It also stems from the fear of women, being able to handle crisis as it comes, because the moment you're driving on the highway, anything can happen. Anything. A trailer in front of you one tire may just suddenly run loose. Anything can happen. I have encountered armed robbery. I have encountered kidnap. I have driven through very terrible terrains. I've had to drive in a heavy downpour, and my car, being a Corolla, was very light. And you see the water waves controlling the steering, and you and the steering and the water waves are fighting. I've had to drive quite early in the morning with fog, like I couldn't see beyond 10 meters. So driving takes a lot of experience. It takes a lot. Now, being in a male-dominated industry, it becomes difficult. You have to prove yourself through your skills, your driving skills, through a lot of through how you even interact with them, through your ability to make them calm and let them trust that you are in charge. Right. So it's a lot, but over time, guess what? Most of my best clients have been men. It got to a point that these people who were scared of having me drive them now trust their families with me. In their absence, I can take their families everywhere. And then emerging as the state secretary in a male-dominated industry, that takes a lot of effort. That means that to a large extent, I was there firsthand to rescue a lot of drivers in times of crisis. There are times when diplomacy is needed, and being a unionist, I had to learn to navigate the terrain. And over time, men had to trust that she is not just a driver, she's a leader, and she's capable of leading us in that capacity. So it took a lot. It took a lot of sacrifices. It took a lot of going out by 2 a.m. to rescue a driver. It took a lot, right? And but over time, I have come to realize that people celebrate results. So the moment they see you as a lady bringing results, it's respectful. You earn that respect. And it's also very important to know that as women, we should stop feeling entitled to certain things because of our gender. We should learn to earn it. When you earn it, the respect is different from when it is given to you.
Thank you so much. How important, in your opinion, is it to address intersectionality when talking about accelerating action for gender equality?
Well, it is very important because for us to even move forward, we need to know where the problem lies. We need to troubleshoot what the issues are. We need to find out the issues of the what I call gender inequality, discrimination that has overlapped each other over the years. And then if we could get to that point, then how are we going to move forward? And when you address intersectionality, it's very important that I say something at this point, and that's why I bring feminism in. Because in the battle for gender inequality, Nigeria came up with a brand of feminism, which some, when you see a bitter woman speak, it's a clear transition from what feminism is about. And unfortunately, that is what is obtainable in a lot of ways, particularly on social media. Hate men syndrome. Men as scum syndrome, if I may use that language. Men are the problem of women syndrome. And that to a large extent has given rise to a lot of bitterness. So while we are trying to come out of crisis, we have opened door to another form of crisis and trying to come out of crisis. So how do we address these issues? The more we are looking at it, the more we are seeing a lot of complexities around it. So, like I said, in addressing these things, again, education and proper orientation comes to play.
Right. Looking back, and looking back, what advice would you give to your younger self wanting to embark on all of these journeys and earning all of these victories you have earned?
My greatest regret? Procrastination and fear. I was scared for a very long time. I second-guessed myself for a while, even though I had a brave front and I was pushing. I let fear cripple me, and I procrastinated on a lot of decisions I would have just taken upon and just done it. And I think that if I never procrastinated, I would have gone farther than I am right now. And when I decided to confront my fears and I started moving, I realized that it wasn't easy, but I did it scared. I did it crying. I did it discouraged. I did it lonely. I lost friends along the way. I was misunderstood, right? I was called different names. But at some point, I realized that I really don't owe anyone. I owe myself. And when the chips are down, I've got myself at the end of the day. And I also realized that the world celebrates success, while our reward system is a story for another day. But do it for yourself. Do it for your child. Like you mentioned, I am a child. I am a mother. I have a child, a girl child. What would I want my daughter to say about me when I'm gone? I usually tell my child, when you find yourself in a particular situation, always ask yourself, what would my mommy say? What would my mommy think? If you can think in that moment what I can do, you will have a solution, because of they have decided to take charge of my life. So if I were to advise my younger self, if I were to have the luxury of time again and to live as a young child again, I will not be scared of anything, because what's the worst that can happen? Failure. I fail, I will fall and I will rise again. It becomes a problem if I fall and stay on the ground. And I will not procrastinate. And again, I will not align myself with vision killers. And finally, discover yourself before you take major decisions in life.
Thank you so much. I have one more question before we go to the final questions where we wrap up this interview. there's been a rise in cases of domestic violence. Actually, for February alone, it's been reported that over 1,720 cases have been reported. Why do you think this has become on the rise when you look at the way women have been silenced on issues of this magnitude?
I wouldn't say women have been silenced.
But women have refused to speak up.
You could say women have refused to speak up. Women were never silenced. You choose to stay in that situation. I'm saying that because I am also a domestic violence survivor, right? And I had mine when I was at a tender age. And guess what? I knew it was my life. Like, if I don't walk away, probably I would have to pay with my life. And I made that choice. I made that choice not having a backup, but I did. As women, we have excuses why we stay in domestic violence. Some of them have a trauma bonded with their abusers, particularly if you're in a narcissistic relationship, or if you're in a relationship or marriage with a narcissistic man or husband. Again, lack of funds. Finance is power. One advice I'll keep telling my child is financial independence, and you have to do it through education and getting the right job and investing in your old age, investing in the now. Most women would want to walk away, but the fear of starting from scratch, not having a support system. A lot of women do not have support system. So if they decide to walk away from domestic abuse, who is going to support them? Who is going to help them start again? For women, I advise, no matter how little, get an income. And no matter how little that income is, save something out of it. Because there will always come a rainy day. And when you do not have that income, it becomes a problem to take decisions and stand on it. Imagine, for example, that me now, with the level I am right now, and when I was 19 was not the same. But do you know, I can still be at the age that I am right now and have the mentality and timidity of my 19-year-old self, because I refuse to develop myself. I refuse to develop my financial status. So women, if they must come out of it, financial independence is key. Get something doing. Speak out. Cry out. And this is where religious organizations are indicted. Because of the religious nature of our country, women would run to religious organizations to speak out. And guess what? They will tell you that the Bible says divorce is a sin. So, and I usually ask, they tell you God hates divorce. If God hates divorce, does God love abuse? Balance it for me, make it make sense to me. If God hates divorce, does he love abuse? Right? The same person that will tell you God hates divorce will be the one to say your requiem on the day you die and be buried. And guess what? Life moves on. Some women stay because of their children, hoping that when their children grow up, their children will give them the voice they never had. And that you could find in women of certain age, right? They were hoping. A lot of our mothers stayed because of their kids. A lot of women, even now, are staying because of their kids. And they're staying because of their kids because they do not have the finances to take care of those children if they are to pull the children or take the children with them when they leave. Some stay because they don't have the finances and they leave, and the husband marries another woman, their children will have to suffer. Everything boils down to financial independence, having the right information, proper education, and a good support system.
Thank you so much. What is your final word or your call for action for all of our audience and viewers today as regards accelerating action?
Well, my final word is a very controversial one. Yes. I believe that women should stop begging for handouts. I believe that women should get more active in policy making. At what point are women going to graduate from being paid and packed like sardines inside car to go to the airport and spread their wrapper on the ground for politicians? At what point? What is the job of a woman leader in political organizations? Why do political organizations hold meetings at nocturnal hours that it's practically impossible for a woman to be present? And why are women not speaking up? Have you noticed? Let's look at the trend in politics, because I mean, this is where if women want to change things, they have to get actively involved. We cannot be politically illiterate anymore, and we cannot choose to have apathy for politics and governance. We don't even have that choice at this point in time. But the question would be, why is it that women will wait for election year to start crying out? Women have been marginalized, that the political party form should be discounted for them, and all sorts. But now is the year of governance. Can you, Ruth, tell me one woman who has been speaking out with respect to governance in Nigeria? Can you tell me one woman who has been critiquing some policies of the government that does not align with the interest of the masses in this country? Can you tell me one woman across the states who is a voice of the voiceless in this country? Can you tell me one woman who is making statements with regards to policy change in this country? Your guess is as good as mine. But the moment is 2027, 2026. Female NGOs will rise up and start crying. Women in politics have been marginalized. Can we stop that pretense already? I mean, it's an old card. For me, I see through that. So, women, do you want to be involved? Be involved in changing things, starting from policies. We are the watchdog, and it's unfortunate that women don't even understand the manner of power they wield in the nation. Numerically, we are more than men. It means that if women choose to be politically literate and take their lives and their destinies and that of their children in their hands, this country will change in its trajectory. We will hold this country as a standstill. Remember what I told you about women's riot of 1921. I'm not advocating for a right, but I'm telling you what women can do, and considering that we have numerical strength in votes. In votes. And politicians understand that, and they give you a paltry position called woman leader. And then you are in charge of organizing women to go and spread wrapper for them to work on. And at the end of the day, you're giving how much exactly? An amount that will not sort you out for 1 month, for a day. I mean, for people with large families, it's not enough for a pot of soup. I think it's time women wake up to the power they have and what they can do. So I am not about to say women should be given opportunities. What I am saying is, do we want to accelerate action? Then it's time that we go there and get it. So it's a call to action. It's a wake-up call for women. We are our problem. It is not the system. The system will not change by itself. We will change the system by speaking out, by getting actively involved in politics. And the men understand this. And that is why they give us compensatory roles in political parties. And that's why they give us compensatory roles in elective positions, deputy, running mates. When we have the numbers. But then, do we have the drive? So, do we want to get there? We are not going to have it offered to us. We will go and grab it ourselves. I will not advocate that this should be done for women, that should be done for women. Enough of the entitlement mentality. When we become combative like the men, and because Come to think of it, why are we crying gender inequality when we cannot stand up and do what we need to do? Make it make sense to me. Do you know that if we rise, we are going to change things? But is that even possible? Do we love ourselves? You remember the issue of Sarah Jibrin, who was the first vice female presidential candidate. She voted herself alone. She voted for herself alone in primary. She scored only 1. But there were female delegates in that primary, and they did not vote for Sarah Jibrin. So while we are calling for more inclusion, we should also not be hypocritical about the roles that we have played in setting women back. And women who have a voice and a platform should use their platform to educate women and give them proper orientation and tell them enough of the beggarly attitude and entitlement mentality. It's time for us to go out there and grab it for ourselves. It's waiting for us. Women over the world are making names. We have women prime ministers. We have women ruling nations. Why can't we do it in this country when we have the numerical strength? I think that is food for thought for women as we accelerate action this Women's Day 2025.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much
for sharing all of this inciting and expressive, answers with us and sharing your inspiring journey too. As we celebrate International Women's Day, your words remind us that the time for action is indeed now.
Thank you very much.
Together we can accelerate change and create a world where every woman and girl has the freedom and opportunity to reach their full potential. Thank you so much for being with us today on Atlantic Television.
Thank you very much, Ruth. Thank you.
We joined the global community in celebrating the 2025 International Women's Day under the powerful theme, Accelerate Action. This theme calls for urgent and bold moves to advance gender equality, break barriers, and foster a world where every woman and girl can thrive without limits. In line with this, we are honored to have with us a remarkable woman whose work continues to shape lives and inspire action. She's a trailblazer, a leader in her field, and a tireless advocate for change. Throughout her career, she has not only broken glass ceilings, but has also created pathways for others to follow. Her voice informs, educates, and amplifies critical issues. As the chairperson of the Nigerian Association of Women Journalists Rivers State, she plays a pivotal role in advocating for fair representation and gender equality in the media. Through her leadership, she has fostered a platform where women's voices are heard and their stories are told with dignity and advocacy. Make a warm welcome to Susan Sirikara Nwikana, the chairperson, Nigerian Association of Women Journalists, Rivers State. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you very much, Ruth.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Now, you guys join me as we dive into her journey, her vision for accelerating action, and the powerful lessons we can take forward from her movement for equality. Can you share a bit about yourself and your journey with us?
Yeah, it's actually not been easy, but it's one of those things that I love doing as an activist. And we've been there doing the work, and we know that doing it is not been easy, but the Lord has been there to strengthen us, to give us wisdom, to direct us on the way to go. Well, when I want to say, combining with the side of family side, you have to hustle, run here, school runs, and the rest of them. That's why I said it's not really been easy, but then it's been an enjoyable one, because when you are confronted, especially in the society, the men think it's just a woman. Take, for instance, I was driving down, somebody just like, because I'm a woman, he was driving the bus, and just feel because I'm a woman, I want to take over without any signal or any. I say, oh, because I'm a woman? No, it doesn't work that way. So everything about life has been a challenge, but how you manage it, how you tackle it, it's just turned to be an enjoyable one. And that's how I just see everything. Yeah.
Now, what inspired you to pursue the path of journalism and content leadership? We would really like to know.
Well, you would have loved to ask in the first place my first degree. Yeah. I study mathematics and statistics.
Oh wow!
And you'll be wondering what brought me to that's right. That's why I'm adding it to you. Yeah. I finished at the University of Port Harcourt, mathematics and statistics. And far back then, you know, we found ourselves in a society that is very, very discouraging. Let me use that word. That you finished at the university, you can't get a job. When you can't get a job and you have a flair for this other one, you have to like start developing it to see how that too will work. I finished and tried my best to get something doing, and it wasn't working in the area of mathematics and statistics. Yeah, I was left with the option. In fact, while I was serving, I was given the offer to come and teach in the secondary school where I serve as my youth service. But I said, no, I can't. You know why I don't like teaching? One, I'm very respectful. Even if you are a child, I give you the maximum respect that I know you deserve. But within my 1 year of youth service, what I encountered with the students, secondary school students, was so discouraging that I said, no, I can't take this for life as a profession, no. And that is, after my service, I had to start nursing this idea of being a journalist because what? I love doing it. And I love the activism in it, speaking for the voiceless, giving a voice to those that don't have. That is what I love. And since I took that part, it has never failed.
Thank you
and
so
Charles
much.
just it.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
your response, and I'm really glad as how your experience has shaped you.
Yeah.
Now, this year's theme basically focuses on accelerate action.
Yeah.
In your view, what are the most urgent areas that society needs to push for faster progress as regards women?
Yeah, the area I think so much that the society needs to push is the inclusive of policy. Inclusive policy.
Okay.
Yeah, what I mean by inclusive policy is, you know, these policies, these are just policies that addresses the needs of women and girls in the society. Okay, now, take for instance, the issue of Natasha and the National Assembly. Yeah, I don't want to look at whatever, as in, I don't want to look at the beginning.
Looking back at all you've achieved, what would you advise your younger self if they were to embark on your journey? Yeah,
definitely. I will assure them to be they should be resilient in their way, their thinking, everything. You know, when you are resolute about what you want to do, you have set it aside and said, this is what I want to achieve. This. Focus on it. Be determined. If you are not, you lose focus.
Right.
So my advice would be, you want to be like me, you have to be hardworking. You have to be, you get the determination, remain focused, remain resolute, and resilience to address things around you and remain focused on your set goals and aspiration. That's the only way you can achieve and be.
Make a warm welcome to Dr. Stella Chinyere Linda, lecturer at River State University, Department of Cinematography and Broadcasting. So we're glad to have you join us. Absolutely. Now, join us quickly as we dive into her vision for accelerating action and the powerful lesson we can take forward in our movement for equality. Without further ado, I'd like to know a little bit about your personal journey and motivation. Can you share a little bit about your journey with us?
a journey as a woman, the journey as a woman,
Your journey
as,
to career.
yeah, the society where we find ourselves. It's a tough one for my gender, your gender. You need to work twice as much. You need to put in more effort to prove a point that you're deserving of whatever position you find yourself. So if the male gender is working, say 10%, you being a woman, you need to put in 20 extra to prove that you deserve that same position. Well, for me, I have never seen it as a competition.
Right.
I have chosen as a person, as a woman, to do my best. I have always been one that believes in being diligent, giving your best,
Right.
do what you're expected to do, what is expected of you, and every other thing will flow and fall. And this narrative of it's easy, it becomes easy for my gender. It's a lie. We work for everything I think I have achieved. I have given in my best. I have done the work. I've gone through the fire, through the brimstone, and I am here. It's not because I'm a woman, it's because I have worked twice as hard as any other person.
Thank you so much. I feel like a lecturer at university. What drove you towards that career?
It's been a childhood dream. Growing up, I used to tell my parents and those who wanted to visit that I want to be a lawyer. And I remember my this grandma would say, no, lawyer study in of life. Before her, that was I understand it. And then I also said I was going to go into the business of broadcasting. I won't be lying, I found out that I had a flair for teaching, wanting to impact. And so, just at the beginning of the university education, I told myself I was going to go back there, as this time, not just as a student, but as a lecturer. So I'm there.
Thank you so much. So this year's theme is centered around accelerate action. In your view, what are the most urgent areas society needs to push for faster progress when we look at women?
With regards to our voices. There seems to be this narrative of wanting to hear our voice, wanting to make our voice not to be heard. So I think the society needs to learn how to listen to our voices. Recently, in recent times, in the media, traditional media, the new media, all the medias now, there's particular news that's trending, should I call it drama? I don't know. But it's still that same case of not wanting to listen to our voices. So when a woman screams, it is misinterpreted. When a woman accuses the gender, the other gender, it is called something else. So I think society needs to learn how to listen to our voice and make meaning with everything our voice is screaming at. I think society really needs to listen.
Thank you so much for that response, because it just brings me to the next question I wanted to ask you. What specific actions do you believe are crucial to advancing gender equality? Especially when you look at your industry as a lecturer, as well.
What specific word again?
What specific actions do you believe are crucial? What steps do you take, right, towards advancing gender equality? You made reference to a woman's voice being silenced, or being made to be subsidized and not wanting to be heard, right? So, what crucial steps or actions do you think can change in bridging that gap as regards to gender equality?
Okay. First, every woman needs to understand her own individualism. You need to understand who you are, what you stand for, what you believe in, what your dreams are, and go for it. It starts first with the woman.
Yes.
And then every woman needs to know that every woman should be there for every other woman. We call it women supporting women.
Do we really have that?
Then I ask myself, are we really supporting ourselves? But for us to really push for this equality we are asking for, it starts first from us as individuals, every individual woman. And then before we move to the girls supporting women, supporting women, that's the only way we can achieve that equality we are asking for. Let's take for instance the electoral system in Nigeria. In Rivers State, the last election, I think the woman was part of those wanting to be governors in the state.
Yes.
How many women came out to vote for her? We want to ask for gender equality. First, we need to learn how to support ourselves as women. Asking for gender equality in an organization, first as a woman, you should ask yourself, do I qualify? Can I handle? It's not just coming out as gender equality, gender equality. Do you see yourself occupying that particular position? And will you be able to deliver as much as is expected of you? And if you can answer those questions honestly and truthfully, good, we go for it. Again, it is another woman in that same organization that will come with these statements. Now, woman, what did she feel to? So the problem is still us. The problem is still the woman.
So you believe the mindset shift must start?
It must start from the woman. Until we get it right, we will continue to fight for it. And then I need to remind you that this fight didn't start with us. This fight existed way before now. Long ago, this feminism fight, this equality fight, existed way before now. And it will continue even us afterwards. So the problem, like I said, is within us the women, us the female. We need to learn how to define ourselves first, define our roles as women first, and then define how we support ourselves as women.
Thank you so much for that insight. One quick one before we finally get to the last question to wrap up the show. You're in academia and I'm sure that you handle a lot of ladies and girls. A lot of those.
A lot of them.
Now, and most of those ladies and girls come from families.
Yeah.
Right, that women actually must have catered for them before they came to school and grown to that point. Do you think that mothers are currently doing enough? Now, I want you to look at this question towards first of all the decadence we have in the society as regards the way people now dress, the way lots of women now take drugs. Do you think that mothers are doing enough? And how can days of celebration like this aid in us amplifying our voices for women to do better as regards child upbringing?
Yeah, as a lecturer, I say a lot of things. It is part of life for me now. We drive into the campus to see them right from the gates, going to the classroom, they are there. Many parents have their own parents this time. Before this Gen Z time, we used to say, you are not the owner of the child, the community owns the child.
We have the more communal system.
Don't try that now. You get the feedback of train your own, leave my own.
And aggressive.
Very, very aggressive. You should mind your business. I think that I see myself first as one of them, and I have used my office first as a lecturer, then as a mom, and also as a woman. So try my best to reach out to the one girls in the university community. And if you go there and ask them and just mention my name as a girl, in my faculty, if that girl is maybe properly not properly dressed and you ask her after me, the first thing the girl will do is maybe try to arrange or fix herself up because she will just remember it's that woman. And I've gone out of my way really to not mind what I will receive from the other side, to make sure that we bring back discipline, bring back the proper moral standard that we used to have back then. And I think I enjoy doing it, you know. I even took it to the classroom, like if you're not properly dressed, you're not coming into the classroom for classes. And I try to tell them, you want to dress, you want to be addressed how you're dressed. If you're dressed decently, I think I want to address you properly. And you know, this new fashion, this westernized sense of dressing is taking over the whole society. So it's almost as caregivers, as people who impact others to help change this narrative of wanting to do what Africa. I bring that in our educational system. When we went to school, sorry, you do not dare to dress that way to school, you know. But now it's allowed because nobody is saying to care. But I believe some of us still care because we still live in the world and we have children in the same society. So for some of us, we still care, and I encourage every other woman out there who is in a place of position to be able to reach out to other young women to try and help bring back morality, decency, and all of it, because it's also part of the problem.
Do you think mothers are doing well before we get to this point?
Okay. Mothers is still the same problem of the Gen Z era, or do I say I don't care? And also, economy plays a factor here. You know, before now, so many mothers were stable, take care of the kids, bring up the kids. But now the father is jumping out, the mother is also jumping out. Okay, I'll give you a small scenario. There's a particular student I saw in school. It's a belly button. The top was just up here. So I called her and said, "Why are you dressed? Did your mom see you before leaving the house?" I'm going to call your mom to beg. But did your mom see you? I wore a jacket. So it's one of the problems. So parents, yes, are they doing well? I think parents are doing the best they can do. But the economy does not give the woman that privilege. That's privilege that used to exist, to stay home and take care of the home first anymore. So that's one of the reasons why I feel like.
Thank you so much. Well, looking back, now let's take a flashback, looking at your younger self. What advice would you have given your younger self?
Oh my God. Do I need to say this? Okay, my younger self. Oh God. All the mistakes I made then, I wouldn't have made them. I mean, if I had not made those mistakes I made then, I don't know, probably I would have been the president. I didn't say that. But then, at first I wanted to be my younger self. With some grace. I did well. My younger self, I did well, but I wouldn't have made those mistakes I made then. Yeah. But then I thank God for that.
What is your call for action today as we celebrate Accelerate Action? One last word for everyone watching.
Okay, my call for action today is for every woman to value themselves. Speak up. Don't let anybody make you voiceless. Your voice has a lot of power. So please speak up. Together as women, we can change the narrative handed down to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights and your inspiring journey with us. As we celebrate International Women's Day, your word remind us that time for action is now. As we celebrate the 2025 International Women's Day under the term Accelerate Action, we recognize the urgent need for bold steps to advance gender equality, break barriers, and create a world where every woman and girl can thrive. In line with this, we are honored to have with us an incredible woman, a devoted mother whose story reflects strength, resilience, and the power of motherhood, and a passionate advocate who has dedicated her career to championing the rights of women and girls. Join me in welcoming Mrs. Kennedy, a battlefield woman, mother, and girls advocate. We're glad to have you join us.
Thank you very much.
Learn about your personal journey. I and viewers who want to know about your personal journey and motivation. Let's begin the most rewarding and challenging part of raising children in today's world.
The children of these days, I mean, this present generation, they have what will I say? The one that is that I can mention now is distraction. Is either a child is being killed today for ritual, or something just happened to the child.
What inspired life, giving you experiences and where you're coming from?
Well, what will I say about that? Okay, what impacted me to start talking to girls being there to satisfy one person, that you have a lot in you. You look at it, they were born the same way. You don't give back.
Women have become busy,
Yeah.
and children are beginning to go astray. How do we bridge that gap to make society better?
Well, you can't blame the women that are busy, because definitely they have to make ends meet. Little time you have, you pay attention to them. You pay attention to your children. You give them time. You cannot say throughout the day you are off the house. You pay attention. You take every of their comments to be serious. It is very, very important. You don't shut them down. Let them say what is on their mind. And you have to be attentive. You have to be suspicious at all time to be able to know what is happening per time. You understand? The child may not have the urge, or may not may be looking to any length, just as the men folks are doing. You can do whatever a man can do, you can do it. You have the same brain. If I'm given one chance, if I'm given the
Sexual object.
girl's child should also be in school. You understand? You don't see it as a waste of money. You see, if you see women now doing things you don't even expect, achieving what a man cannot.
Right.
So you should have it on the back of your mind. And so you should put in all your investment in a girl's child, just the way you are doing to a male child. You understand? And number two, you should make sure that you remove that idea from a girl's child, that you are not there as a sexual object, that you have more that you can achieve. And again, most importantly, make sure, let it be in awareness of all female that is never too late.
Right. Now that was going to lead me to the our question. Now, if you could ask somebody to contribute to what we're doing as regards accelerating change, what would your call to action for them be?
Well, we should include
Your call to action for women.
we should increase the awareness among our female children that they can do it better. Whatever they are doing, they can do it better, and it's never too late to start.
Right. It's never too late to start. As regards subjugation of women voices, do you have anything to say about it? Women being, pressed to keep silent, women being pressed not to say things they ought to say. Do you have anything to add on that?
Excuse me. You should be able to say whatever stage you are with the situation that is confronting you. You have someone that you can speak out to, because it's then that people can raise up to help you. That is when you realize that those things that you are seeing as challenge, they are not actually a challenge.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for joining us today on Atlantic Television Network. Today we join the global community to celebrate the 2025 International Women's Day under the powerful theme Accelerate Action. Now, this theme calls for urgent and bold steps to advance gender equality, break barriers, and foster a world where every woman and girl can thrive without limits. In line with this, we're honored to have with us a remarkable woman whose work continues to shape lives and inspire action. She's a trailblazer, a leader in her field, and a tireless advocate for change. Throughout her career, she has not only broken glass ceilings, but has also created pathways for others to follow. Make a warm welcome to Mrs. Onini Jacks, former Commissioner of Agriculture, Rivers State, legal practitioner, and a peer member. We're glad to have you join us today.
Thank you.
Join me as we dive into her journey, her vision for accelerating action, and the powerful lessons we can all take forward in this movement for equality. Welcome to this program, and it's a pleasure to have you join us. Let's go right into it. First, we would like to talk about your personal journey and motivation. Can you share a bit of your journey with us, please?
Oh, what can I say? I'm a lawyer. I've been one for about 40 years. And actually, most of my work have been around empowering women. Quite a bit of it has been empowering women. I think one of the major things that I would say I did, I wrote a book on women and criminal justice system in Nigeria. If you look at that, you'll see a lot of ways in which, in different stages of the criminal justice system, women are sidelined. I don't know what if happens now, but they wouldn't even let a woman take anybody out on bail. For whatever reason, you're disqualified to bail anybody. Before now, the same system, if you're female and single within this police, you either, and we have to tell them continuously that it is not necessarily so. And in a few areas, there have been some changes. Inheritance rights, for instance, even the Constitution says every child is, but we know that in different communities, they're not allowing women to inherit.
Right.
You know, but even those who are not doing it are not doing it as brazenly as before. Once a woman stands and says, "Are you telling me that I cannot inherit?" They step back and they give other reasons. But the fact that you're female in most places now does not stop you from inheriting as you should, at par with your male sibling. You know,
with this, do you think we've been able to, break the barrier of the patriarchal structures that has held us down?
Not as much as we have to stop. We have to continue. It's still there. It's still there. You know.
What inspired your pursuit of your career path?
When you look at it towards the women's right, I think the father I had, I was born one of, to start with, 4 girls. Later, we had brothers who are much younger than we are. And our father didn't see us as male or female, at least we didn't feel it. We had all the opportunities, that were possible. We went to all the schools. We were not stopped from going to school. We had good relationships with him. And I think as I grew older, I realized that what I had, a lot of people did not have, because they had fathers who did not see them as equals to the male citizens. So I thought I needed to do something where I can assist others to achieve what I could because of the support I had from my father. And I think I owe him that he didn't see us as, and I know how much he was directly or indirectly, will I say, abused, or you are sending your daughter to America. That's my oldest sister in the early 70s. And you have sent the other one to the UK. I can't use the money to be there. They're even women. What will they do for you? He had it, but I guess maybe his own background, he was a teacher, he was a principal and all that. Possibly, I don't know. But it didn't make us feel at any point that we were less than humans.
And you think that actually shaped you into good leadership position?
I can't immediately think of anything else. I owe it to my dad.
Thank you so much. Now, this year's theme is accelerated action. In your view, what are the most urgent areas where society needs to push for faster growth as regards women empowerment?
I'll say there's still a bit of bias in what you want to do as a female in the society, which the larger society is still no, do this or don't do this or do this, But my own advocate personally, which I've is, as a female, you have to believe. That is key. Nobody is going to do it for you, because unfortunately, maybe from our upbringing or whatever, you see, when I was teaching in Nigerian law, I look across some young girls say, as soon as I finish school, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to sit down. My husband will look after me. And I keep asking, I don't understand. The husband you're marrying is in your class. You sit with him in class. Why do you think he should do for you? Why are you not planning to do for him? So I think it's in us, it's in the women. You have to believe that you can do it. It's not the society. And how do you stand? If you don't work for yourself, you don't think for yourself, you don't think you can do it, nobody is going, then that's a loophole that you're giving somebody to enter. But if on the other hand, you stand firm, this is what I want to do, I know that I can do it, I assure you that even anybody who had any doubt, I'm going to say, no, this woman is serious, let us support her. So I think it's on the women. And most of the discriminatory practices that we've been fighting over the years, like female genital mutilation and all of that, are perpetrated by women, not by men.
Sadly.
Yeah, sadly.
You have been able to break significant barriers in your career, right? What strategies have helped you navigate spaces that were not always welcoming for women?
Walking in as a human being, just walking. I mean, what I know is that once you walk into a space or a place, nobody ever asks you to leave because they're looking at you and you're looking at them. And I'm sitting down here. You have a problem with that. And the back off. So confidence in yourself is very, very important. But of course, if you've been beaten over the years, you're not going to get that kind of confidence. You're going to struggle and find out that you cannot even express it. So you have that, assuming you're a young girl who, as a growing child, where you were brought up, you've been raped, you've been abused, where is the confidence going to come from? So again, it's a larger society. We have to treat our women with a lot of respect and let them grow, let them be what they want to be. Don't assume or make rules. No, women cannot do science, women cannot do this. Leave it open, and I think women will thrive.